Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Hello friends, Namaskar. I, Dr. Bhavna Trivedi, an Assistant Professor of English, welcome you all to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University video lecture series. Today, in this session, I am going to talk about Marxism, that is one of the theories of unit number 3 of paper MEG05, Literary Criticism and Theory. Marxism is an economic and political theory propounded by two German philosophers called Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. It has been very influential in the course of history and especially in the development of socialism. It also examines the flaws found in capitalism. It was first published in 1848 in the pamphlet called Communist Manifesto, and later it was elaborately discussed by Karl Marx in his very famous work called Das Kapital. You can see the image of Karl Marx. Before we move to Marxism itself, let us have few concepts. And first one is a socialism. Socialism is an economic and political philosophy that says that all the means of production, distribution, exchange and services are shared and owned by the state or all the individuals of the state. Second one is a socialism, which is similar second one is communism, which is similar to socialism, which says that in property of state is owned or shared by all the individuals, and each individual receives and contributes according to his or her capacity and need. Third one is capitalism. Capitalism is an idea which says that in a state, few industries and factories, right? Industrialists and that particular owners of factory, they control the total wealth of the state. So they keep in control the production of means, and they are found inclined to regulate them, right? Considering their own profit. Two other important concepts I would like to discuss over here are utopia and extopia. Utopia is the place where everything is good. People are very happy with the ruling system. Right? Utopia is made up of two terms, eu and topos. Eu means good and topos means place, a place where everything is good. Quite opposite to utopia is extopia, which means that which means the place which is not good. Right? Everywhere chaos and disorder is found. People are not contented and happy with the ruling system. Right? Now here you can see the gist, a very famous quotation of Karl Marx, which is kind of the gist of what Marxism is all about, where Karl Marx says that my object in life is to dethrone God and destroy capitalism. Right? What actually it does mean, we'll be discussing in the next lecture, where how religion and other institutions are there under superstructure, and how this superstructure control the lower class and all the means of production. Right? Now what is Marxism? Right? Actually, when we talk about our existence, right, our consciousness as a human being, right, is determined by our social status. When we are aware about our social status, who we are in this society, right? That determines our consciousness as a human being. That has a lot to do with our existence as a human being. And that particular social status is determined by our, interest in the material world, right? Taking these two particular idea, the theory of Marxism, comes up with so many philosophical doctrines. So in that way, we can say Marxism is a corpus of doctrines. And of all such doctrines, we can, study three major branches, right? Marxism as a philosophical anthropology, Marxism as a theory of history, and Marxism as an economic and political program. Right now, under Marxism as a philosophical anthropology, right, first of all, we should understand that this particular theory is a philosophical critique. Now, let us discuss what is a critique. Critique, right? Critique is a kind of, you can say, written or spoken evaluation of any subject, right? Where, writer comes up with both positive and negative side of that particular matter, right? And criticizing something, criticism is a kind of, analytical or comprehensive study of, any work of, literature or art. Now, this particular Marxism is a radical critique of philosophy, right? Where Karl Marx says that philosophy must be realistic. The ideas discussed in philosophy should not be in air, but it must be capable to, to relate it. Ideas must be correlated with the practical world. So at a time, the philosophical ideas must be transformed into reality. And there should be, transformation at both the level. Transformation of human consciousness and transformation of society. So that is what Sri Aurobindo calls, that transcend, one should evolve, one should transform oneself, right? Or even transcend, we can say, right? So any idea which can transcend us, right, should be there in philosophy. Another important thing that Marxism underlines is that it is a theory of history, right? And as we have discussed, Karl Marx was a philosopher and not an empiricist, right? Now let us discuss what is an empiricism. Right, when I say empiricism is a kind of, you can say, is a concept which says that knowledge can be gained through experiences, right? So, through practical world, one can, gain knowledge. So, empiricism is the idea where knowledge is acquired through practical world. And Karl Marx was a philosopher, right? And yet, the ideas that he discussed under Marxism are more of practical world, where he says that any problem, right? Should be studied with its dynamic relation with other factors. Right? One should not make, kind of firm affirmation regarding problem. Right? But one should, very well know the dynamic relationship of, existence, of human existence, of, of any problem. Right? When I say myself, so myself is made up of so many, factors. My existence found, psychologically, politically, geographically, socially, familiarly, right? So in that case, there is a interrelationship of all such factors. So problem should be studied in its dynamic relationship with whatever background it has got, that is historical, political, social and economical realities, and all such backgrounds, the prevailing realities, factors found in all such backgrounds are so interwoven with the contemporary present problem that one can get the solution by studying all such factors. And under these particular idea, right, when we talk about Marxism as a political theory of history, right, one must study Marx's idea of humanity, right, and it is not less than studying Das Kapital or reading that Communist Manifesto, where Karl Marx says that human existence, right, our existence as a cosmic creation, right, should be very much interwoven with the factors which are lying outside the existence. We humans, right, are natural, you can say, natural being, right, taking our sensitivity and instinct. But that particular, capacities found inside, right? We are endowed with so many capacities and power and instinct. But realization of that particular things, right, but that particular potent has a lot to do with the objects lying outside human existence. So in realizing that particular capacity, that particular power, one has to struggle with nature. So while humanizing ourselves, we are actually naturalizing ourselves. And the manifestation of that potent, that power, is equivalent to struggle with nature. Right, so human realization, or realize a consciousness, the awareness, or the acquirement or the manifestation of consciousness is equivalent to that struggle with nature. So in that process, actually we confront with nature, right, because we can realize our potent only once we confront with the objects which are lying outside the nature, right. And Karl Marx says that history is nothing but, you can say, an account of all such a kind of stories when human potent has got realization through that sort of struggle. All that is called is history is nothing than the process of creating man through human labor. So creating man, realization of man or realization of consciousness is through human labor. That is what Marxism is all about. And history is made up of all such a kind of evidences and stories, right? So, man himself is irrefutable proof of his power, and man has created himself by putting his efforts, right? So that universal dimension of human activity is revealed when say for man is the supreme being, right? One meaning of word man is to labor also. To man means to labor, right? So realization of man is through laboring, right, is through that struggle, or that potent, that power, that instinct, that capacity, that skill is converted into a kind of object, and that particular thing is there in the form of product. Right? Now in the next session we'll be discussing how this particular Marxism is an economic and political program, and how this particular theory at a time has become a philosophy of mankind. Thank you so much.